Top NBA reporters will be at Madison Square Garden.
I'm Frank Isola, and yet you sent me here to host from your studio in D.C. Explain that one.
Oh, wait. Oh, Frank, I made a mistake. Oh, no. I thought you were here, like down the hall.
Well,
we got a big SUV, big navigator going to the garden.
I'm going to use your helicopter to get back to New York, so don't worry about it. The big one with Wilbon on the side of it.
Welcome to PTI. Tony is load managing himself. So taking his minutes today is our great friend from the starting lineup on Sirius XM Radio, Mr. Frank Isola.
Yeah. They wanted me here. These guys wanted me here.
That's a pretty good welcome. That sounded like the world's most famous arena. We begin today with the Thunder evening things with the Spurs in the Western Conference Finals. Isaiah Hartenstein's grabby defense helped limit Victor Wembanyama. The Thunder bench delivered, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander bounced back from his Game 1 struggles with 30 and 9. Meanwhile, Jalen Williams and Dylan Harper both left the game with injuries. Frank, what did you make of what the Thunder did and how they did it?
Yeah, the most recent report on Jalen Williams day-to-day, we still don't know about Dylan Harper just yet. What the Thunder did and the way they did it, I think you thought this would happen. I thought it would happen. We thought SGA would get more aggressive, more involved in the game early, Mike, and that's exactly what happened. Plus, they needed to do something with Victor Wembanyama. And putting Alex Caruso on him, who's a foot short, I know he's going to compete, but I thought it was smart. A lot more Isaiah Hartenstein. And to your point, you mentioned the pulling and the grab. He even pulled Stephon Castle's hair at one point. There was a toughness to the Oklahoma City. I know it drives people crazy, but I think they got back to the way that they play. They're very aggressive on the perimeter. There's a little flopping involved. That was Oklahoma City basketball led by the MVP, SGA.
No doubt, Frank. And look, the game's going to be called differently with the action moving to San Antonio.
Yep.
But last night, down 1-0 and playing at home in Oklahoma City, that's how the Thunder had to play.
That's right.
That's how they got to play Victor Wembanyama. Look, dealing with Wemby, we're going to go back and we're going to make references to how people used to defend Shaquille O'Neal and how they've dealt with all the big, great centers. And obviously Wemby gives center like new definition. But you still got to do some things because he is otherworldly. Hartenstein did that. He'll be called for 5 fouls in the first quarter in San Antonio if he tries it down there. But this game was in Oklahoma City. But I think, so that was half the equation that was necessary for OKC to even this, and the other half was obviously SGA. I mean, he had to be the MVP. I don't want to hear about letting the action come to him and all the things that he normally successfully does. He knew he had to force it last night, and that he did. He got to his spots aggressively, right? And so that was an impactful performance, an impactful 30 points. And I thought those two elements, Frank, had to exist for OKC to come out of this. I don't know what you do without Dylan Harper. I will say this. Caruso, McCain, Mitchell, and Wallace make it a little easier for Oklahoma City to operate without J-Dub because they got a depth that San Antonio doesn't have, particularly if De'Aaron Fox is not there. So San Antonio could be in some trouble with those guards both out if they are.
Yeah, you mentioned the bench points, 57 to 35 for Oklahoma City. Caruso again was outstanding. And SGA, this is what the great players do. You can't go down 0-2. You can't lose the first two games. Doesn't mean you can't win the series. But he knew the importance of that game, and he delivered. But you're right, though, about Dylan Harper, who has been great. I love how poised he is when he plays. And if you take him out of the equation and you take Fox out of the equation, guys that handle the ball, and I love Stephon Castle. How the heck he went fourth in the draft, I still have no idea. What a player he is. How about the dunk he had last night? But, Mike, as good as he is, and he's going to be a star, he has 20 turnovers in 2 games. 11 in game 1 and 9 last night. That you can't have
be the primary ball handler. No, he can't be, Frank. And so they got to do. I think Vassell can do some of that.
Yeah,
but they're going to have to figure that out because those. Look, OKC wants to have those live ball turnovers that they convert into, rushes, odd man rushes the other way as if we're on the ice. And so that's going to be something we really got to watch before the action moves to San Antonio.
And, Mike, if you're Mitch Johnson, don't you have to throw it out there at some point? We went back and watched the film, and there were several times when Isaiah Hartenstein should have been called for a foul. I think you're 100% right.
He sent those clips to the league office. You know he did.
Hartenstein better watch himself the first couple of minutes of Game 3. No question about it. All right, let's move now to the Eastern Conference Finals. All right, Mike, you were at Madison Square Garden for the Cavaliers' epic 22-point Game 1 collapse against the Knicks on Tuesday. The Cavs had no answers for Jalen Brunson's attacks on James Harden, nor could they revive their flatlining offense. You'll be there again for Game 2 tonight, seated between probably Spike Lee and Timothée Chalamet. So how do you assess the Cavs' chances of evening this series?
So, Frank, you know what it's like being here after a big Knicks game, particularly a controversial one. And everybody, of course, has already come up with their theories on what's going to happen. And most people have the Knicks winning in a blowout, and that's my inclination is to feel that way. Cleveland has been, I hate to use the word resilient, but they have been. They were in both their first 2 series, Toronto and Detroit. But they better come out quick. They better not fall way behind because the Knicks will blow them out like they started some of those games late in the Atlanta series, right?
Yep.
They're going to have to get Donovan Mitchell going and let Donovan Mitchell hunt Jalen Brunson. Turn that around because Donovan Mitchell was like a decoy. What was he doing late? He scores 29 points in Game 1, but none in the last 8.5 minutes, and he's walking down the right side of the court. We all thought he was injured, Frank.
Yeah.
That's not Donovan Mitchell. I know people say, wait a minute, he's gotten tired late in games. He's run down late in some playoff games before. He's also had 50s. So to me, that's a critical thing. Donovan Mitchell early, often, and make Jalen Brunson do something besides beat you to death late in games being clutch.
Yeah, I'm having a tough time figuring out the Cavs because, first round, they go to a Game 7. Jared Allen plays out of his mind. They end up losing 5 straight road playoff games. Then they beat Detroit in Game 5, and you're thinking, all right, Cleveland has it figured out. They lose Game 6, and then they blow them out in Game 7. And now here they are with a 22-point lead in Game 1, and it's Jalen Brunson attacking James Harden. This is what I understand from their standpoint. You go back to last year when the Knicks did the same thing. It happened to them against Indiana, Game 1 of the conference finals, but it was Aaron Nesmith. So if he makes 6 of 7 threes like he did, you're like, all right, who thought that was going to happen? Everyone, including all the celebrities sitting courtside, knew if the Knicks were coming back, it's going through Jalen Brunson. And I know Harden's taking a lot of criticism, as he should. And I know that Kenny Atkins is taking criticism for not calling timeout, which he should. But I agree with Draymond Green, who knows a little something about defense. If you're Dean Wade, you can fight through a screen. The idea is for you to guard James Harden. You don't have to just give up every time. And I thought that was a problem.
Which they did.
They
just gave up
the
sight of a screen like they were in high school.
And Mike, something else about that, and you know how it works with these crazy comebacks. It takes 2 to tango, right? How about the missed free throws by the Cavs? And, in Game 7 against Detroit, they were 28 of 44 from the free throw line. Gentlemen, you're NBA players. It's the playoffs. And sure enough, missing free throws. Harden missed a big one. Jared Allen missed 2 big ones in that fourth quarter comeback. It kills you every time.
Yeah. And when you go to overtime, you look at every one of those missed points or turnovers or just dumb plays that the Cavaliers made, and it's unbelievable. Bouncing back. Let's see. The first quarter, Frank, is going to tell
I
a whole lot.
agree, or they could get blown out. You're right.
They could get blown out. And now to the Golden Knights beating the Avalanche in Colorado last night. Vegas scored the first 3 goals of the game en route to a 4-2 win in Game 1. It's only the Avalanche's second loss of the entire playoffs and first loss at home. Frank, was Vegas' win a big deal, little deal, or no deal?
All right, come on. How can it not be a big deal? Number one, they won on the road. You just mentioned it's the first home playoff loss for Colorado. That's one thing. But Cale Makar didn't play. You're talking about one of the top players in the league. This is a guy that out of a possible 90 playoff games, last night he missed one. He's played in 88 of a possible 90 playoff games. The guy plays all the time, and if they're saying upper body injury, but it could be multiple injuries, that's a big loss. That's an important player for them, and give Vegas a lot of credit. They shut him out long enough for Dylan Coughlin to get that goal to give Vegas the lead. And I thought whoever scored first, and I understand how hockey works, deflections, it could be crazy goals, but the game had that kind of feel to it. So I give Vegas a lot of credit for getting that Game 1 win. It's a game you have when the other teams, well, technically, if you want to call him the second best player next to McKinnon, when a player like that is missing, that's your chance. Vegas took their chance last night, and they're up 1-0.
Yeah, I agree with you, Frank. It's a big deal. And Kevin Weeks, of course, former goaltender and star analyst now, broadcast analyst, he earlier today compared McCarr not being there to Brian Leach of the great Rangers teams being absent and all that means. And you have this hole in your team, your second best player, and, maybe, arguably the best or certainly one of the best players at his position in the league.
Yeah.
That's a big deal just to beat the Avalanche at all right?
Yep.
And, of course, Carter Hart had, 36 saves? So he had this huge game. It was interesting being here with those guys. I mentioned Weeks, and PK Subban has been here as well. And he talked about he picked Vegas to beat Colorado for one primary reason, goaltending and defense, and Torts' ability to get his team to sort of just mug it up in the middle of the ice and make it difficult for Colorado to do what they've done in the previous series. So far, so good, at least in game one.
I thought
take
you
a
were,
break.
I thought you were going to say because Tortorella looks like my older brother. I thought that's the reason.
Does he
liked
really?
Vegas.
Is that true?
A little bit.
Your brother's so
No, I'm
dashing.
saying no.
That's pretty cool.
If he was my older brother, he would look like me.
Time to show off some exemplary vocabulary. What's first?
Last night's performance from Shohei Ohtani was blank.
Man, Shohei, the first hitter in the game, goes yard right away, Frank. Just goes out.
Yep.
And, of course, he's pitching, and he passes Bob Gibson for the seventh time that Shohei has homered in a scoreless start. Bob Gibson, the great Bob Gibson, had done it 6 times. Of course, Gibson probably did it with 6 complete game shutouts, but nevertheless, Shohei did this, and my word is flexing, because only he does this now. We can't even say Ruthian, because Ruth never led off these games.
Nope.
Shohei is leading off game. He can lead off, hit it out, come out, and shut you down. And now he's on some other lists with Koufax in terms of the start of the season, the ERA.
Fernando.
Flexing.
Yeah. My word is superstar stuff. And the reason I say that is because Dodgers reliever Kyle Hurt, that's what he said before the game. He said, I think we're going to see some superstar stuff from Shohei. And to your point, he leads off the game with a home run in a game he's pitching in. That's only happened once before. Shohei did it in the playoffs in 2025, and then he does it for the first time for any pitcher in a regular season game. Then he retires the first 9 batters he faces. In the 5th inning, he's tiring a little bit, bases loaded, 1 out, and on his 88th and final pitch, he gets Fernando Tatis Jr. to ground into a double play. The guy is unbelievable. You realize that his ERA is 0.73, and then in his last seven games that he's played in, he's 13 of 27. So the way that we talk about, like when we're seeing Wembanyama, it's like something we've never seen.
Yep.
With this guy, I don't know if we appreciate it enough. I know we talk about it a lot on this show, as we rightfully should, but I think sometimes it's becoming so commonplace, it's ridiculous what this guy's doing on pitching
Frank,
and hitting.
Throw in Lamine Yamal, and you got the 3 people worldwide that think you want to see, right?
That's flexing. Look at Mike throwing out a Spanish player from
what I'm saying?
Barcelona. Impressive.
What's next?
The Canadiens have a blank chance of beating the Hurricanes in the Eastern Conference Final.
So, Frank, first of all, no Canadian team has won a Stanley Cup since 1993.
Hard to believe.
Montreal did it. It's been long enough, right? So, but I'm going to still say that Montreal's got a villain's chance. They just spoiled it Buffalo. They were just villainous to Buffalo, which goodness knows has been on the wrong end of too many of these things. The Bills and now the Sabres. They just beat the Sabres in Game 7 in Buffalo. But here's the deal. Carolina is having a historic start. It's the first time in the modern Stanley Cup playoff structure that a team has swept the first 2 rounds, and now they've been off 11 days. Nobody's off that long.
Yeah.
They've been off 11 days. Everything sets up for them. It's like they got magic dust going. And here comes Montreal off the 7-game, victory, being a villain in Buffalo, a villain's chance for the Canadiens.
Yeah, that 11 days, that's the longest break in the playoffs since 1919. That's been a while. My word is fighter's chance. I don't mean in the traditional hockey sense of fighting. This team, which is one of the youngest teams in the NHL, has shown a lot of fight. They go Game 7 against Tampa Bay. They only have 9 shots on goal and they win. Then, of course, you mentioned Buffalo. They got outplayed in that game, but they win in overtime. Here's something else to keep in mind about this Canadian team. They've played Carolina 3 times during the regular season. They beat them all 3 times. So while Carolina's only given up 10 goals in the 8 games, which is ridiculous, in those 3 wins that the Canadiens had over the Hurricanes, they outscored them 15-8. So the Canadiens may have a little bit of an edge. Plus, it's Mike, they've played 11 games, the Canadiens have, since April 26th. And here you have Carolina not even playing for 11 days. Rust.
Well, and Carolina, the number 1 seed in the East, but still, I mean, we've seen number 1 seeds, particularly in the NHL, get taken out. That's the final word. Let's take one last break, but still to come. Another low moment in a bad week for Pete Crow Armstrong and my Cubbies.
And is the Fever suddenly load managing Caitlin Clark? Oh, say it ain't so.
That's a 4-letter word. See, there's no tanking in the WNBA.
No.
We don't have to worry about tanking. Load managing. That's the issue.
You're right.